said, don't touch your keyboard. This is one of the most dangerous attacks circulating right now. This is called a click fix attack, and if it's not a Captcha, or it's not a verification step, it is a social engineering attack designed to make you execute malicious code on your own machine while believing you are proving you are human. And when I read this, it sounds like, damn, you have to be real fucking stupid to fall for this shit. As we know, people are still getting their Discord accounts hacked, which means there are people who will fall for this. Here's exactly what happens if you follow those steps. The fake page has already silently copied a malicious PowerShell command to your clipboard without you knowing. It happened the moment the page loaded. You didn't click anything, you did not consent to anything. The clipboard was written to the background by JavaScript running on the page. When you press WinR, you open the Windows Run dialog. When you press Ctrl-V, you paste the malicious command directly into it. When you press Run, you execute it with your own permissions on your own machine. No exploit needed, no vulnerability needed. You did it yourself. Willingly. While thinking you were completing a Captcha. Remember the good old days when Captcha first transformed into pictures and I was like, oh my god! Why are there pictures of lizards or bowls of pasta? The payload varies. Researchers have documented ClickFix delivering info stealers, remote access Trojans, and credential harvesters. The malware executes instantly and silently, and by the time the run dialog closes, the damage is done. The reason this attack works so well is threefold. The fake Captcha looks visually identical to a real one. The instructions sound technical and therefore trustworthy. You know, that makes me more suspicious in current year, right? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm the paranoid one, but it saved my ass on many an occasion. Imagine having PowerShell. Oh my god. And critically, you are the one executing the command, so endpoint security tools see a legitimate user action rather than an automated attack. Real Captchas never ask you to open run dialogues. That's crazy, that has to be said. Real Captchas never ask you to paste anything. Real Captchas never give you keyboard shortcuts. If a web page ever asks you to press WinR for any reason, close the tab immediately. And so this is somebody posting on Reddit showing a screenshot of the Captcha exploit, where it says verify you're human, complete the verification steps to continue, press WinR, press Ctrl-V, and press run. And I haven't gotten this to pop up before, but I've gone to a couple of websites that I've actually visited before. So they weren't like new websites that were like suddenly horrific nests of malware. And I got this verify you're human thing, but instead it said scan this QR code with your phone. And I was like, there ain't no way I'm ever scanning a fucking QR code for some kind of Captcha nonsense. You're out of your fucking mind, dude. ain't no way. I've had like friends send me, if you send me a link, just don't, right? Like, unless it's to a news article and I can verify the link, just don't bother. Like, I've had friends send me links and I'm like, I don't recognize that website. I ain't clicking on that shit, man. And they're just like, what do you mean? Like, you know who I am. I don't care if I know who you are. I ain't clicking on that weird ass looking thing. True and real. Yeah, if any link looks weird, you won't click it no matter who sends it. Yeah, exactly. Or if somebody sends me like a Google Doc or like a Google form, I ain't clicking on that shit. Get out of here. Anyway, you've had to clear your older brother's laptop twice of fake antivirus he kept downloading. Like, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but obviously people are falling for it, so I figured I would do my job and, you know, disseminate the information. Yeah, so this said, Candace Owens dead, podcaster's Twitter activity in focus amid bizarre claim, check on her. Podcaster Candace Owens' Twitter activity was the focus in a now deleted post claimed that she had died. However, there's nothing to substantiate the claim. And this person named Lily Gaddis, I feel like I recognize this person's name. I think she might have been the one who called Pearl an N-word fucker or something. Either way, she said, Candace Owens' family reached out to me earlier this morning. It is with deep sadness and sorrow that I'm sharing the passing of my longtime friend and fellow political commentator, Candace. But I also can't shake the feeling that this wasn't simply a random tragedy. There are circumstances surrounding Candace's death, especially after Charlie's passing, that raise serious questions, and I hope the full truth comes to light. I want to respect your family's privacy, so I will refrain from sharing any further details. Please stay posted. And then she deleted this. She deleted this. And then Candace Owens came out and said, thank you for all the messages of concern, but I'm not dead. If I were, it would be entirely appropriate for you to have blamed Israel. Somewhat relatedly, Charlie Kirk was not concerned he was going to be killed by a transgender furry after a full day of arguing with Zionists about him abandoning the pro-Israel cause. Hope this helps. I was just like, damn, bitch, are you my mom? Because what the fuck is this level of, like, lying? Holy shit, she's retarded. Yeah. Is she shitposting? I have no idea what the fuck she's doing, but it's not sane, whatever it is. Are we sure that isn't a body double planted by the Jews? Rip to the real Candace? She went to the same place as the real Eminem and the real Joe Biden.
Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? We're gonna have a problem here.
So, Gina Milan here saying, leftist lunatic who was just arrested for grabbing the hose from National Park Service workers cleaning the algae. And she gave credit to the photographer. But then I guess the photographer is a horrible person and DMCA'd the photo. So we can't see the photo even though they gave credit. I don't fucking understand. But either way, there's another video here, Nick Sortor saying National Guard troops are monitoring the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool like hawks after a man was arrested for jumping into the pool and ripping sealant off of the bottom. Deranged leftists are literally vandalizing the pool to get Trump. Insane to think this is where we are as a country. It gets even more insane as the days go on, don't worry. But it's really weird that so many people wanted his, like, pool project to fail. And when it didn't, they were like, well, we'll make it fail then. Take that, Drumpf. Why do they hate beauty so much? Like, I understand they're communists, and so they have to destroy anything beautiful. But, like, why, man? It's a pool of water. Just leave it the fuck alone. You're actually fucking insane. They can't let anyone they hate win. I fucking guess so, dude. Jesus Christ. And just a bunch of National Guard having to stand around and make sure people don't jump in the pool to rip off the bottom of it because they're fucking insane. Beauty scares them. That's why most don't own mirrors. I hate mirrors because they make me think that, like, something spooky's gonna happen. This guy looks like he was just teleported out of Reno 911. This man isn't real. That's a stereotypical American. So they're just National Guard hanging out, making sure leftists don't jump in the pool and try to destroy it. Cyclist arrested at reflecting pool is a former Olympian who denies the vandalism claims. David Heron said he touched the pool's detached liner but didn't destroy or break or peel anything. Yeah, I just don't believe you. You're a cyclist and you're fucking crazy. I double don't believe you. David Heron had just finished a loop around Haines Point on Friday as part of a 52-mile bike ride when he swung by the Lincoln Memorial to see the refurbished reflecting pool for himself. Noticing a piece of the new American flag blue liner that was partially detached from the pool bottom, Heron said he reached into the water to see what it felt like. This fucking liar. Moments later, as the Bethesda man prepared to leave, U.S. Park Police officers arrested him on a misdemeanor charge of destruction of government property. He is scheduled to appear in D.C. Superior Court on July 9th. Heron's arrest ignited a social media flurry as President Donald Trump and his allies blamed the pool's overhaul problems on administration opponents. Emily Miller, a conservative journalist, posted a 2-minute, 8-second video on X which showed Heron detained by two members of the National Guard and subsequently surrounded by park police officers. Man arrested for vandalizing Lincoln reflecting pool, he grabbed the hose that female National Park Service workers were using to clear the algae, wrote Miller, who confirmed via text that she had filmed the encounter but declined to speak on the record. In an interview Saturday, Heron, 67, denied damaging government property and said he had never touched the hose, though he acknowledged that his bike tire may have. Right? Okay. All right. I didn't vandalize anything, Heron said. I didn't destroy or break or peel anything. By the time I realized what was going on, I was being put in handcuffs. Heron, wearing biking gear and a helmet, can be seen in the video with his hands cuffed behind his back. Fragments of conversation are audible, but a pump operating in the background drowns out much of the exchange. Asked to describe his actions, Heron said, "I reached in there and I was able to grab the end of that flapping piece, at the already peeling piece. It was still attached to the bottom. I didn't remove anything." Heron is a 3-time Olympian who competed in the canoe slalom? What the fuck is a slalom? He won 2 world championships in whitewater racing before retiring from active competition in 2002. Century-old reflecting pool has become controversial following the president's decision to refurbish the concrete basin with a new liner. As government workers in recent days tried to combat an algae bloom in the reopened attraction, a new problem surfaced. Chunks of the pool liner broke free. A few hours after Miller's video went public, the president, in a late-night Truth Social post, blamed radical left lunatics for vandalism at the beautiful reflecting pool. Trump promised the algae problem would be quickly resolved and other repairs made early next week. The president also accused Jonathan Karl of ABC News, who has reported on the pool's mounting problems, of trying to rip the rubber off of the surface of the pool. Karl declined to comment. In 1996, Park Police arrested Heron for canoeing on the Potomac River after heavy rains left it near a record high. A federal judge dismissed charges of failing to obey a lawful order because the river where Heron was canoeing is governed by Maryland, not the federal government. Is that a thing? Can you get arrested for canoeing on a river? Isn't that what they're for? I don't understand. On Friday, Heron said that he was detained for almost 5 hours at a Park Police facility on Haynes Point before being released shortly after 9 p.m. He was reunited with his bike and rode home. Maybe just don't vandalize the pool, buddy boy. Trump posted this. Apparently there is somebody in an animal costume with FIFA. First they came for the algae. And this is so dumb that I can't tell if it's real or if it's a psyop, man. I would genuinely believe that somebody conservative, paid someone to do this for more attention. But then again, leftists are this fucking crazy. So it's I genuinely cannot tell anymore. Alex was right again.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Donald Trump saying, "Here is another example of a crazy pro-algae, likely paid protester." The sign says first they came for the algae, which is a reference to a famous post-World War II statement about Germans not speaking out against the Nazis. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. The algae should be gone. What are we doing? What are we doing? You refuse to believe that isn't a guy shitposting? Well, there's video of him. Pro-algae protesters are now harassing National Guard troops who are guarding the reflecting pool from vandalism. Oh, I hear the accent. This is definitely not a shitpost. This is definitely someone who is actually that retarded. Unlucky for all of us.
You all to watch porn scum. Our money's really being fucking spent well for you all to watch porn scum. Let's go, Augie. Let's go. So the National Guard could come and watch porn scum. $1.1 million a day so the National Guard could come and watch porn scum.
Porn scum!
You're trying to find something to arrest me for, aren't you? Right? You're going to try to find something to arrest me for.
I genuinely cannot tell what flavor of Star Wars this individual is. But, yeah, fuck it. You go, weird little dinosaur thing. Algae lives matter. She wants to be arrested. Of course they do. Ever since all of the, people getting involved in the ice riot shit, they've all been wanting to become martyrs. It's their goal to martyr themselves for the cause. It's fucking crazy. It's become like a death cult, man. And then there was a duck that died. The body of a dead baby duck floats in the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool after recent renovations directed by Donald Trump resulted in an algae infestation, leading workers to pour hydrogen peroxide into the water. If I recall correctly, the pool was already filled with algae before, and that was the entire point of the restoration. It was to try and make it so algae wouldn't grow as well as it did before. And also, hydrogen peroxide doesn't pull out the feathers of a duck, by the way. So, what are we doing here? This duck could probably land in someone's backyard pool full of fucking chlorine and be fine. Why are they killing the ducks, man? This is inhuman. Because they don't really care what they have to kill, ducks, babies, other people, themselves, as long as it actually advances their goals by any means necessary. This guy here saying, Toxins that liberal protesters poured in the pool are what killed the duck. They're emotionless servants of the devil. True. Hydrogen peroxide does not reliably or commonly kill ducks when used in typical diluted applications. Concentrated forms or improper use can be harmful or toxic, and birds in general. You know? Nick Sotor here saying, just now, police have detained yet another leftist goon for allegedly vandalizing the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. These people need to be slapped with major federal charges. Police believe he was ripping pieces of the blue sealant off the bottom, further damaging the pool. Where did they find a guy time traveling from like 1993? This guy looks incredibly out of place. This is like a 1993 man that got teleported here. Or 1998 with the Jinkos. Save the planet unless it's Trump, then destroy it. Yeah, pretty much. One can make the argument that Trump used the cheapest contractor for the job and the liner was coming off naturally because it wasn't sealed properly. But why are you pulling on the liners, you idiots? Like, if he actually got the cheapest contractor and he got a shitty liner, it would have just come off naturally, would it have not? Like, you didn't need to go and vandalize it. But, like, they have to go and do this to try and be like, see, look, we were right. And it's like, no, you weren't. You're the ones causing it! That's a loud-ass pump. Aw, look at their little police ATV! How cute! Does Trump sound like someone that would pick the cheapest anything? I don't know, probably not. I guess, like, people are angry because he just, like, he didn't let people bid on the contract and he gave it to somebody, I guess? I don't know. I haven't been following that exactly closely. A reminder that Trump was an NYC real estate developer. You could totally see him using the cheapest option. More likely is the company rushed the installation of the liner to meet the American 250th birthday. That's also possible. I don't know. I don't know. We'll never know because the deranged leftists are fucking tearing up the pool themselves. There's another video. U.S. Park Police are using plainclothes informants to catch people screwing with the sealant in the reflecting pool. This woman has been detained after being caught. Keep your hands off the freaking sealant! Did that guy have an Ankh tattoo? Caught by Linus Tech Tips. That guy's way taller than Linus Tech Tips. That's crazy. That's crazy. Did she take a piece of it out of the pool? What is happening? You want to not live in a world where people who think doing stuff like this makes sense to get to dictate what is and isn't acceptable in society? It is very tiresome. It's very tiresome. And I've, oh my god, it has been wonderful seeing people in the Sonic community actually stand up to Sega and them promoting people who are like, yeah, you know, it's not fine to have a personal opinion, but it is fine to wish death on people. That's fine. That's an it. Guard looks like the kind of tired sleep won't fix. Well, yeah, you're in the National fucking Guard, and you're having to just stand around a pool all day because mentally ill retards want to jump in the pool and rip off the liner for some reason. So you're telling me Trump just pulled the biggest Fed bait posting with a pool on record? Unintentional bait posting, because they're just getting crazies out of the woodwork, man. Here's another one from the algae enthusiasts. The retards are now talking to the algae.
Honey, Team Algae, we're sweethearts. Everybody's proud of you. You are single-handedly doing more to fight fascism than any American has. Yes. Let's go, Algae. Yeah, Algae. Woo, Algae!
beyond parody. That, like, I want to believe that this is a psyop being paid for by, like, the Koch brothers, man. I want to believe, like, Peter Thiel is, like, rubbing his hands together, like, yeah, they're gonna eat it up, like that. This is fucking insane. How do you do this and think you're the normal one? More concentrated mental illness than a room full of VTubers. Unironically, though. Can we just round these people up? These are people who absolutely 100% without any hint of irony should be disenfranchised. These people should not have the ability to vote in any way, shape, or form. Good fucking God, what am I watching? Padded room. Why are they like this? Just let them clean up the algae, man. We have another arrest because these people are fucking crazy. How many people are going to be arrested for vandalizing the pool? Another deranged leftist was arrested for his conduct at the Lincoln Reflecting Pool. Keep locking them up. He admitted on camera to verbally harassing Oklahoma State troopers who came to protect a national monument from vandals. These people are truly unhinged. He's got the Adidas shorts and the aviators.
Why do you do it? I was yelling at the Oklahoma State troopers. Why? I was yelling at them. I know, but why?
He's dressed like a chud, but he sounds like he belongs in a pride parade. He's trying to go undercover.
Why were you yelling at them?
Because they're here.
But
The Oklahoma State troopers.
I know, but why would you be yelling at them? Like,
Why
just
would
because
you
they're
be-
here? I'm just trying to have a better understanding.
Lick the boot. If you love the boot, lick it.
What? What? If you love the boot, lick it. Hey man, I just want a nice looking reflecting pool. I would rather more money go to the reflecting pool than continue to be spent on illegal aliens. That's crazy. Madam Savvy has been on a fucking warpath. Absolute fucking warpath. And she DM'd me and said that, like, people on Twitter were, like, accusing, I guess, people who are going at Sega for all this disingenuous shit. It was like, oh, you guys are probably coordinating in some kind of a Discord. And I was like, that's hilarious. That's exactly what these freaks fucking do. And now they're trying to say we're doing it? Every accusation is a confession from these fucking people. Savvy goes crazy when she has a target. Absolutely. I sent in a fucking complaint ticket to Sega. Savvy had said that she did as well. So hopefully other people are sending in complaint tickets. Because, like, that is what these freaks fucking do. So this account got suspended finally, but it wasn't suspended last night. And Savvy said, congrats to Emsbury and everyone defending her. Miia can't even donate to St. Jude and make a post about it without this now following her. All of you freaks are defending death threats and violent speech. And this is gonna follow her even into other comment sections. Like, sometimes I get, like, incredibly upset. Because it's like when I comment on other people's posts, some of these, like, political freaks will just come in and start, like, freaking out under my post. And it's like, this is not the time or place for this. I'm either, like, wishing happy birthday, or I'm offering condolences because, like, someone in their family died, or, like, a pet died, or maybe I'm just making, like, a fucking joke at someone that I'm friendly with. And there'll be people, like, in the comments who are like, oh my God, why is the Nazi here? Blah. It's like, shut the fuck up. This is why everyone is fucking sick of you. You can't even stop lying for half a second because you're not the, like, focus of attention. Holy shit. Yeah, people in heavy fucking quotes. I feel like I don't do too much, and especially here, Savvy is, like, fucking waving that war banner. She has been going nuts on this Sega thing, and Sega is a huge corporation, so that is exactly what we fucking need, is we need to make a stink about it, right? And they should have invited Kirsche to the event, and it would have done less damage. Sucks that Miia gets hounded by these idiots, but at the same time, watching our people support her fills both you and her with hope. Good, it should. It should. It's just like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of these cancel culture freaks getting people cut from things, whether it be a sponsorship or their job. And then as soon as we are upset about it, they're just like, oh, you can't do that. You can't be upset. You can't defend yourself. You can't ruin things for us after we ruined things for you. Wah! I'm so sick of it. I'm so fucking sick of it. All of you freaks are defending death threats and violent speech, things that it's just a joke, bro, would never work if the role was reversed. If anyone had said, I hope trans people get the worst thing imaginable in any capacity, you'd be burning things. You'd never shut up about it. And if someone said that, it wouldn't take everything that Savvy and other people are doing to get Sega's attention. They would have immediately been fucking dropped. The fact that Sega has not dropped people saying that means that Sega absolutely fucking agrees with it. And I hate doing that to companies, right? Because companies aren't responsible for what their sponsored people say. The sponsored people say what they believe in. But if Sega's willing to cut someone for way less than that and keep someone on wishing death on people, obviously at that point, it makes it look like Sega agrees with that. Savvy continues, so this is what the left is. This is what the loving and tolerant is. They defend it and Sega supports it based on Dutrakes and its gaslighting weirdo posts. Instead of celebrating the anniversary, timelines are flooded with you freaks wishing death and harm, defending someone wishing death and harm, and others reacting to it saying that's wrong and you freaks are defending it. And here's a guy saying, please do the universe a favor. And this was, it's suspended, so I can't click on it, but it was in response to Miia saying, hey, you know, instead of supporting Sega's charity event, just donate directly to St. Jude. And I think that's the best thing to do, right? Because if you go into the charity stream and you start making a fuss in the charity stream, then you look like a piece of shit. So just ignore the charity stream, starve it of attention, do not give them views, do not give them attention, and donate directly to St. Jude. You don't need Sega or the people supporting Sega, or I guess being promoted by Sega who wish death on people. You don't need to support them to donate to St. Jude. You really hope Miia took my advice and confided in someone? I hope so too, because if you don't have people that aren't content creators that you can confide in during something like this, it will make you feel like you're going crazy. And again, that is the point, like I told her. The point is to make you feel like you're going crazy, so you will stop and shut the fuck up, and they'll be allowed to do whatever the fuck they want to you. That is the goal. And then Savvy continued, it's an alt, it's Canadian, makes you wonder. I don't know what them being Canadian has to do with anything, but it is funny that it's an alt.
If you don't stand with your fellow Canadians, then you are a rat!
Nowadays, Canadians are fake, self-righteous shits. And I said down here, the irony being that the same people attacking Miia are doing the, oh my god, if you interrupt an event raising money for children, you're a horrible person. Just donate to St. Jude directly instead of supporting Sega or the lunatics involved with the charity stream, wishing harm on others. Which is exactly what you should be doing. Didn't St. Jude already take the position of we don't need money from chuds after the whole heel stream, Wall Street Journal kills kids debacle? I don't know much about St. Jude, but it's like, if they're actually doing good for children, yeah, donate to them instead of going through Sega. Miia did post about fellow Sonic creators reaching out about sharing her opinion, so I guess she's in good hands. That's good. That's also good. But that's good, but you definitely need a group of friends that are not content creators. Remember that there are no friends in content creation, so even if someone is acting friendly towards you today, as soon as something happens, they could end up using you for content. So just be aware of that. And if you're venting about your mental state, about your weaknesses, about what you're afraid of in the current moment, don't do that to fellow content creators. Do that to close friends you have that aren't in content creation. Online people are coworkers, not friends. Yes. You will go far taking heed to Daddy Jimothy's advice. There are no friends in content creation. It's the same thing that has been said. It's a depressing reality that must be confronted at some point in every content creator's career. And then I made a post here. Some guy, I don't know if the account is still protected. Might not be, but either way. They ended up blocking replies and then also protecting their account at one point. But they showed a screenshot of Miia saying, as you know, I was removed from the Sega creator program due to safety. After what's happened, I've been thinking, do I just say nothing? Do I let them silence me? Do I pretend I'm just fine? Sega's allowing this mainly because of the numbers. And some person said, what the fuck is going on? Jealous as fuck. Stop clinging to other people. Ems didn't take your spot, not even Sega. You took it from yourself for being a fucking transphobic and racist piece of shit because you're a shitty person who deserves the worst, just like anyone with your ideas. God damn it. I'm sick of these people. So I said, what the fuck is going on? You freaks have enjoyed destroying people's lives for edgy jokes or having a difference of opinion from you for many years. Everyone is tired of it. Cancel culture stops here. Companies will never be allowed to forget when they toss someone out to appease a mob. You people would swarm companies on Twitter, tag sponsors, flood customer support forums, threaten employees to create fear in order to force them to get rid of someone you don't like. Now, we will do the same thing. The backlash every time someone is dropped or fired will be so great, companies will stop capitulating and ignore you like they should have originally done. And look at Advanced GG. This is like the biggest example I can think of in recent memory. Look at Advanced GG. They cannot post about anything without their comments and quote retweets being absolutely swarmed of people reminding what a disingenuous fucking company they are. They will support people who go on harassment campaigns, they will support people who denigrate others, and they will cut people like Rev and Straub for having conversations publicly on Twitter. Every company should be treated the exact same way that Advanced GG is. Every post they make, every update they have, anywhere that they allow public comment, should be absolutely inundated with people reminding everyone what the company has done. The backlash should be enormous and it should be great. And yes, that's exactly why Savvy and I also put in tickets to Sega, because that's what these people do. Just posting on Twitter isn't going to be helpful. It will be, right? Companies get worried when posts go viral and get a lot of attention. So the more posts on Twitter, the better, but also you need to contact their support. Advanced GG, Bud Light, Ubisoft facing the consequences of their own actions still to this day. Yes, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. If you set a precedent that you will drop people for their speech, the speech that remains is de facto more acceptable to you than whatever got cut. Exactly. Exactly. Which is why companies need to operate on a, yeah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to cut people unless they're doing something illegal. Right, unless they're threatening people, unless they're actually celebrating death happening, right? We're not going to cut people for opinions, because as soon as we start cutting people for opinions, that means we agree with whatever's left, and we want to stay non-political. We want to make product. And I cap off with, your spellcasting, racist, transphobic, misogynistic, Nazi scum doesn't work anymore. Everyone knows it's bullshit. And while I say this, there are companies, as you can see, like Sega, like with me, like Crime Boss. They do take these people somewhat seriously for some reason still. And that's exactly why the backlash to these companies must be greater than the initial cancel culture mob. If you're not making a stink that eclipses what these Twitter freaks do, you're not gonna get listened to. So we need to have, like, fucking bless Savvy, dude. She is going hard in the paint here. Welcome to the rice fields, motherfucker! You gotta have a little bit of cringe, otherwise people will think you take yourself too seriously. With the extent of the damage being known now, Sega can't really claim ignorance anymore, can they? They can't. They cannot claim ignorance at this point, no. They either need to cut these people who have been actively calling for death, or reinstate Miia. I would say probably need to do both, unironically, but... And Asmongold responded, fucking based Asmon. He's the only reason that I go as hard as I do, because again, originally, when Crime Boss tossed me out, I didn't say anything. I didn't want to start trouble. I didn't want to, like, have extra issues. But Asmongold's advice convinced me that, like, yeah, if I don't say anything, that does me no good. That protects the company. That protects the company, and it leaves room for more companies to continue doing this to more people. I should be speaking out. I should be saying something. So bless him for being the spearhead here. He said, chimping out is the only way to match force with cancel culture people. Unless you match and overwhelm force against them, they'll continue to get their way by manufacturing outrage and scaring companies. If other people take the low road, meet them there with a shovel. And he's absolutely fucking right. Cancel culture is not something that was started by us. We want it to stop. We've wanted it to stop. But people on the left are just completely power hungry for the high that it gives them when they're able to ruin other people's lives. That needs to stop. And if the only way that's going to stop is if they feel the consequences from what they started, then so be it. It's not hypocritical. It's using your own tactics against you. Because you have used my principles against me for far too fucking long. Used to be able to ignore most people and they go away, but nowadays they just go harder and can cause actual harm. Dox, death threats, or worse. Also, bridge is still a thing. Yeah, ignoring the problem is no longer going to work. And there are a lot of people online who will be like, well, you should just ignore the problem. You should ignore this. This account has barely any followers. It doesn't matter. You know who barely had any followers when I started getting harassed? Fucking Bint and Yara. And now they're basically the internet's whipping boys because they got so much attention and thought they'd be able to build a career off of getting me canceled. That's why you engage with the movement against crime boss. If we don't do stuff like that, things won't change. Need to step up. They set the rules of engagement. Absolutely. And it fucking sucks when it's something that you love as well, because it's like, I don't want to have to give that up, but I've been forced to. And there's more of us than them, but we kept silent for too long. It's because most of us just wanted to fucking be left alone. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to go on a crusade. We don't want to have to deal with this shit. We want to play games and live our fucking lives, but we're not allowed to. Which is, again, why I hate the, I just want to grill people even more than the gay race communist activists. At least I know the gay race communist activists are my enemy. But the I just want to grill people will sit there and watch me be stabbed, you know? Like, they're not gonna help. More horror out of Massachusetts. Boston City Councilor Ben Weber proposed nearly $3 million in budget cuts to the police to instead fund immigrant services and equity grants. And this is a letter that says statement from Ben Weber on the proposed budget amendment package. The proposed $11.46 million in reallocations come from a data-driven approach designed to fund those jointly held priorities without impacting vital city services. My proposal for doing this was to use historically underspent line items and salary savings, a mechanism used to account for anticipated vacant positions, as well as execution of courts, a line item for court settlements that the council has drawn from the past. I also put forth options to fund additional critical community programs if the council were to reduce vacancies in the police department that are not expected to be filled and/or pulled some funds from police overtime, which is increased well above what similarly sized cities spend on overtime. And there's a picture of him. Ben held his first official public hearing as chair of the Ways and Means Committee. We're looking forward to a productive budget season. Ways and Means Committee is a really weird fucking name, by the way. And then Libs of TikTok expanding again more recently. Wait till you hear this. One of the executive directors of the nonprofit, which is getting the immigrant funds that Boston City Councilor Ben Weber is reallocating from the police budget, is his wife. Boston's planning department quietly handed Ben Weber's wife's nonprofit a 10-year lease plus $341,900 in renovation money 2 days after Weber took over the budget.
What the fuck?
It's just all corruption and self-enrichment all the way fucking down. 2 days after Boston City Councilor President Liz Breeden publicly named Boston City Councilor Ben Weber as chair of the council's Ways and Means Committee, the Boston Planning and Development Agency, the city body that approves property leases, zoning changes, and development deals, took up a 10-year lease extension at the China Trade Center for the International Institute of New England, the nonprofit where Weber's wife works as a senior executive. Breeden announced the committee assignments, naming Weber as Ways and Means Chair on Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. 2 days later, on Thursday, January 15th, 2026, the BPDA Board of Directors meeting agenda also filed with the Boston City Clerk. Carried as item number 4, a vote to extend the lease with International Institute of New England, Inc. for use of the third floor of the China Trade Center located at 2 Boylston Street for a period of 10 years, commencing February 1st, 2026 and ending January 31st, 2036, with 2 5-year term renewal options. Budget season, you dislike comparison of taxpayers and game animals even if it fits? Yeah, it's kind of a little on the nose. Weber's wife, Alexandra Zan Weber, is the Chief Advancement Officer and Senior Vice President at the International Institute of New England, where she oversees fundraising, institutional partnerships, advocacy, and strategy. According to Dorchester community advocate John Smith St. Cyr, the same advocate who blew the whistle on Weber's conflict of interest last week, the BPDA deal also included reduced rent and a tenant improvement allowance of up to $341,900 for remodeling, design, and build-out. The board passed it unanimously, no questions asked. Per Smith St. Cyr, one of the attendees at the BPDA meeting that took up the IINE lease was Jordan Frias, listed on boston.gov as a staff member in Ben Weber's District 6 office. They just get so bold with it because they know nothing's gonna happen. No, not in Boston. Wu even hid the budget from the public so no one can figure out how much money is being spent on illegals. Yep, how's that audit going, by the way? The Weber file already includes a state ethics commission flag raised this week over a separate $1.2 million grant amendment that would have flowed through Weber's amendment package to IINE. Weber pulled that line from his package on Monday night and recused from any future vote restoring it, after Smith St. Cyr filed a formal ethics complaint against him. Weber still plans to vote on the overall budget on Wednesday, citing an as-yet unreleased written ethics commission opinion he says clears him to do so. This is a developing story. Bro. Bro, what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? Elderly New York City transgender serial killer who rode around with his girlfriend's severed leg in his electric wheelchair will serve the rest of their life behind bars. 88-year-old Harvey Marcelin was sentenced to life without parole for the murder of his girlfriend, Susan Layden, 68. Marcelin, who identifies as female, savagely chopped up Layden with a reciprocating saw in his apartment in 2022. Marcelin then took Layden's remains and dumped her torso on a street corner and rolled over to a 99-cent store with the severed leg in his wheelchair. Marcelin has spent more than 50 years in prison, dating back to 1963, for killing two of his girlfriends before being let out on parole in 2019, after he promised to stay out of trouble. Rehabilitation doesn't work. Just execute murderers, man. What the fuck are we doing?
Harvey Marcelin will spend the rest of his life in prison at 88 years old. A judge sentenced him to life without parole for brutally killing and dismembering Susan Layden.
Regardless of your age, if you were ever paroled again, I have no doubt that you would kill again.
This is the third time Marcelin is convicted of killing a woman he had a...
People joking about Carmelo Anthony getting one murder for free. This trans person, which I shouldn't say trans, this autogynephiliac, or this fucking woman-hating fetishist, got to kill 3 women before finally being put away, and he's like 80-something years old now. That's ridiculous.
Relationship with. In 1963, Marcelin was sentenced to life without parole. Changes in the law later made him eligible for release. Then in 1985, he served more than 30 years for killing another woman. He was paroled again in 2019. In 2022, investigators found the dismembered remains of 68-year-old Layden inside bags across East New York and inside Marcelin's apartment.
Even given his advanced age, there is no hope for rehabilitation here.
Marcelin spoke in court, still insisting he was innocent.
My Susan Carol Layden, whom I was crazy over, and whom I witnessed murdered by an evil crackman.
Marcelin somewhat apologized to Layden's family, including her daughter, who she had lost touch with after...
I didn't do it, but I'm kind of sorry.
...after falling on hard times.
I'm sorry for my failure to do more to protect Susan.
A longtime friend.
Did he say I'm sorry for my failure to do more to protect Susan? This fucking psychopath!
...of Susan Layden's told me via Facebook that she was a warm, loving, and devoted mother and friend. She said she's glad Marcelin will never be able to destroy anyone else's life. In downtown Brooklyn, Shopkeep Dennis.
Chad, this is so sad. A strong and brave trans woman has been imprisoned for no reason other than bigotry and white supremacy. We need to start a GoFundMe so that we can help him get out of prison and he can live the rest of his life out in happiness and harmony like every trans person deserves. He just needs to kill a few more women. That's no big deal.
There's a little bit more exposition given to us here as well. Think of this. He murders his girlfriend in 1963. He's tried, convicted, and sentenced to life with a chance for parole after the jury deadlocks on the death penalty. He spends 21 years in prison and gets out in 1984. The jury deadlocked on the death penalty. I hate my fellow man sometimes. The year after his release, he meets a new girl who is a drug addict and a prostitute. They become roommates. He stabs her within the year and dismembers her corpse while high on crack cocaine. He admits to the murder but claims it was in self-defense. For some odd reason, the charges are downgraded to manslaughter, even though the autopsy results found 33 stab wounds. Only 12 years are added to his revoked life sentence. He applies for parole 15 times over the next 34 years, but is denied until 2019 when he is released due to his advanced age of 81 years. He quickly finds another roommate, a 68-year-old lesbian woman. Less than 3 years later, he murders this roommate and again dismembers her corpse. He pleads not guilty, claiming another female associate did it. This case finally makes it to trial in 2026, a full 4 years after the murder. Think of the waste. The 2 unnecessary deaths, the unnecessary trials, the wasted prison space. All for a guy who should have been put to death 60 years ago after his first murder. And now we're having to waste space again in a prison for some 88-year-old serial killer psycho. It's just absurd. It is. It is beyond fucking absurd. He should have absolutely been given the death penalty the first fucking time in the 60s. I fucking hate boomers and their hippy-dippy nonsense. I wish criminals like him would resist so they can't be released again. It's just like, how has our justice system failed so spectacularly for so fucking long? Like, we're sitting here in 2026 talking about the same shit that I'm sure people were talking about in 1963. Like, how the fuck didn't he get the death penalty? What are we fucking doing? Beautiful wife, 21, excitedly sent friends pictures of her outfit for their night out, but hours later, she was murdered and stuffed in a drain pipe by U.S. soldier boyfriend, court hears. U.S. soldier boyfriends could be here. U.S. soldier boyfriends could be anywhere. A young wife excitedly sent her friends pictures of the outfit she planned to wear on a night out just hours before she was murdered and stuffed inside a drain pipe, a court has heard. Zarius Hildebrand, 24, of Alaska, allegedly killed his wife, Saria Hildebrand, 21, in their bed in August 2023 before hiding her body in a drain pipe, prosecutors said. The 24-year-old is on trial in Anchorage for first-degree and second-degree murder and tampering with physical evidence after pleading not guilty. On Thursday, the jury heard that Saria was messaging a co-worker about what they were going to wear on the night of August 5th, 2023, which was her husband's birthday night out. Elizabeth Crowther, who worked with Saria at Bread and Brew, told the court she was honestly one of the most positive people I knew. Another colleague, Kalani Thompson, took the stand and said her friend was very sweet. She would come help out and always happy, check in on people, always happy, never a bad day with her. The jury also heard this week how police found a blood-soaked mattress in the couple's apartment. Why would you keep the mattress, man? What the fuck? There was so much blood that it soaked through to the carpet and into the wood frame, Law and Crime reported. Hildebrand had originally denied allowing police to look under the mattress, claiming there were embarrassing items such as sex toys underneath it. When police offered to turn their backs and allow him to remove them, he still denied them. They discovered the blood after returning to the apartment with a warrant. Police also discovered 2 handguns, including one that was missing a single bullet from its magazine. They also noticed a pillow near a storm drain in the area while using drone technology to search. Underneath the pillow, investigators found Saria's body shoved into the pipe. She had a gunshot wound to the left temple. Investigators also discovered that Hildebrand had purchased a mattress cover, hydrogen peroxide, and a 96-gallon trash bag the day of the shooting. Hildebrand, who served in the Army, and his wife, who served in the Alaska National Guard, had gone out to celebrate his 21st birthday the night before on August 5th. The couple returned home around 2 a.m. and a neighbor reported hearing a single gunshot around 2:45 a.m. He told police that his wife left for work the next morning on foot as she was hungover and had left her phone behind. However, friends told investigators they received a text message from her around 10:45 a.m. saying that she planned to call out of work. Hildebrand denied sending the message. His defense team argued that Hildebrand awoke the morning after his celebrations to find his wife dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. That's believable. That's very believable. They claimed his decisions afterward were poor decisions made by a man when they're put in unthinkable circumstances. This case is a tragedy, it is heartbreaking, but it is not a murder, Public Defender Lacey Brewster told the jury. The Daily Mail has reached out to Brewster for comment. However, police audio played in court showed Hildebrand saying his wife was not suicidal or struggling. Hildebrand also delayed reporting her missing to police by 36 hours, telling them that he tried to find her himself first. Saria's mother, Meredith Barney, claimed Hildebrand lied about knowing where she was. Well, yeah, delayed reporting her missing, telling them that he tried to find her himself when he has a blood-soaked mattress in the apartment that they shared together. Come the fuck on, man. She told Anchorage Daily News in 2023, he walked around for hours with me searching for my daughter knowing that she was dead. He lied to me multiple times and tried to play it off like he was a concerned husband. Yeah, that's really fucking gross. That is sociopathic behavior, man. What the fuck? The couple had met at basic training before marrying in December 2022. Saria was a combat medic for the Alaska National Guard, and she moved from Utah to Alaska to be with her new husband 6 months before she died. He was a cannon crew member assigned to the 2nd Infantry Brigade combat team. 6 fucking months. That's insane. If there was that much blood, it meant that her heart was still beating for a long time following the shooting. Is that true? I don't know how that works. The black magic love triangle that saw a woman stab her sister to death because she wanted her husband for herself, and what the love rat at the center of the family bloodbath did next?
Boy, that escalated quickly.
What? Despite their 7-year age gap, sisters Saba and Saima Khan were so close their neighbors thought they were twins. The siblings were inseparable and would do everything together, from shopping trips to picking up Saima's children from school. They even lived together, all squeezing under the same roof of their parents' neat and tidy semi-detached in Chalney, Luton. But secretly, Saba, then 27, hated her sister for having something she longed for: a relationship with her husband, Hafiz Rahman. Saba had embarked on a sordid 4-year affair with taxi driver Hafiz, and the pair would sneak off for sex in his car and in the family home while Saima, 34, was off at work. When Hafiz eventually tried to break off the relationship, Saba hatched a twisted plan to kill her older sister and take him back for herself. She paid £5,000 to a witch doctor in Pakistan to curse her sibling. But when that half-baked plot failed, she decided to carry out the execution herself. I mean, that's fair. What else was she supposed to do? She tried the peaceful option of cursing her with a Pakistani witch doctor. What other option was left besides murdering her sister? These people are all so stupid. Oh my god. Bike shorts, thank you. Saba, my love, how could you? Lamby Chop, thank you. She doesn't know about the love rat. I don't know about the love rat. She lured Saima home early from work one night and launched at her with a kitchen knife as she stepped foot in the hallway. Saba stabbed her victim 68 times, and with such ferocity, she almost decapitated her. When Saima's 4 sleeping children were awoken by the noise, one of them shouted down from their bedrooms to Saba, "Are you killing a mouse, Auntie?" "Yes, children. I'm killing a very troublesome little mouse." She spun a web of lies when the police arrived and claimed her sister had been brutally murdered in a home break-in gone wrong. Come on, dude. Come the fuck on. Detectives and jury saw through her deceit, and she was jailed for life for the horrifying killing. Saima and Saba's parents still live in the same house, but understandably refuse to talk about the trauma of their daughter's murder 10 years on. But what became of the man at the heart of the deadly love triangle? That's what they were fighting over? Bro makes Kim Jong-un look like a fucking hunk of a man. What are we doing? Despite painting the picture of a grieving husband in court and in tributes after his wife's death, Hafiz wasted no time in moving on. He traveled back to his native village of Gulpur in Pakistan, administered Kashmir, and got married to a second wife in a small, intimate ceremony before bringing her back to Luton, where they have since had 2 children together. Why is he just allowed to do that? Bro's got a backup. What's the age of this new wife? A source told the Mail that he was shunned by his extended family in Gulpur for his infidelity, but is still seen frequently dropping off his and Saima's children to their grandparents' home, the same house their mother was killed in. He never dares to enter the home himself, instead parking up the street to pick up and drop off his children. The family friend said, "He's not really liked in the family anymore after what happened. I can't imagine why." You see, they, Hafiz and Saima, are both from the same family, so it caused a lot of problems. His extended family have kind of distanced themselves from him. While Hafiz could enjoy a fresh start with his new family, the Khans were forced to pick up the pieces of a crime so horrifying that it sent shockwaves around her community that are still felt to this day, a decade on. On May 23rd, 2016, Saima and Saba's parents, along with Hafiz, returned home from an evening funeral service to find scenes from a horror film. They were already at another funeral and then came home to their oldest daughter dead? What the fuck? Their eldest daughter, Saima, was lying dead in a pool of blood in their corridor, her head nearly decapitated. Their younger daughter, Saba, was unhurt but covered in her sister's blood. Police were called and Saba claimed her sister had been stabbed to death in a botched burglary. She had been in the shower, she claimed, and came out to see her beloved sister lifeless in the hallway. At first, no one had any reason to doubt her story. It was unforeseeable that Saba could ever hurt a hair on Saima's head. One family friend who lives on the same road said it was about 11:30 p.m. I woke up because I heard screaming outside and it was their mum. When we went outside, the paramedics were already there. You could see Saima's body in the corridor. Saba had actually asked me to go into the house and go upstairs to make sure the children are okay. They were so close, so Saba being involved was the last thing I could think of. She was very calm on the night, as if nothing had happened. They lie as easily as they breathe. That's crazy. They added, she seemed perfectly fine, the way she was in her senses and everything. It was not a normal way for somebody to react. The truth was too horrifying to contemplate. Saba had stabbed her sister with a kitchen knife and she had bought from Tesco just a day before. She then changed out of her blood-stained clothes, stuffed them in a bin liner along with the murder weapon, and hid them under cardboard boxes in her room. Days later, detectives recovered the evidence during a search of the house. Moment Saba Khan tells police she tried to help her sister.
Came down, I literally saw her there with glass lying around her. So I literally just ran away. I took a scarf to cover it because I thought I was gonna, you know when you cover the wound and like stop from bleeding, and I thought,
what have you done to your hands?
She had glass, so I took the glass out, and there was glass everywhere, so I was just hugging it to me, and then I don't know.
Now this might strike some viewers as harsh, but I believe everyone in this story should be deported. Hafiz had no plans to leave his wife or his mistress, but Saba became infatuated and wanted him entirely for herself. In an effort to distance himself from her, the taxi driver planned to move out of the Khan family home with Saima and their children. But family sources suggested that Saima, who was unaware that her husband was sleeping with her sister, did not wish to move from her family, and an annex had initially been built in the garden for them to live in. Saba saw no other option but to take her sister out of the picture and began to plan the murder that would destroy her family and see her jailed for life. Bitter text messages to Hafiz showed Saba calling her sister a bitch, and in one message she promised to rip her heart out and show him what he means to her. Saba also began searching the internet for poisonous snakes, how to hire a killer, and 16 steps to kill someone and not get caught. Thanks, WikiHow. She eventually contacted a fixer in Pakistan to use black magic to kill Saima, paying £5,000 to a witch doctor to finish off her sister. She would message the fixer in the third person, writing, "Sorry to bother you again and again. My friend is really upset now. Hafiz does not even look at her. He says he realizes his mistake. You finish off Saima as quick as possible so Saba can get her Hafiz back." After this failed, shockingly, she decided to take matters into her own crazed hands. Saba purchased a knife the day before, and at around 11 p.m. on May 23rd, 2016, lured Saima home by messaging her that her children were crying. As Saima entered, the lights were switched off for 8 minutes, during which time she was knifed to death in a savage frenzy. Saba had tried to stage the scene to look like a burglary, smashing the window and concealing the murder weapon in her bloodstained clothes and bin liners. As I'm reading this, I'm having flashbacks to that woman who got ticketed or whatever for masturbating on the beach and then turned up, quote-unquote, suicided a couple of days later. And then when the neighbors were asked about the supposed suicide, they were like, "Oh yeah, her boyfriend did it? Like, we heard them arguing and we heard a commotion over there. She wasn't alone." And even before we heard from the neighbors talking about how the boyfriend was there, when I saw the images and when we were talking about the bloodstains in the article, I was just like, hold on, wait a minute. There's no way that this was a suicide and she managed to walk around her entire apartment, leaving blood in a bunch of different places. This does not sound like a suicide. Why aren't we investigating that? Why haven't police done anything in that case, man? She told officers she found Saima lying dead in a burglary gone wrong, and officers initially believed her until they found the murder weapon in her room. In police body cam footage played at her trial, Saba could be seen on video explaining how she had tried to stop the bleeding by covering Saima's wounds. When asked by an officer why she had blood on her hands, she claimed to have wounded herself on glass, which was shattered on the floor after the break-in. I'm glad that when people try to lie about these things, they're too dumb to actually lie efficiently. that makes me happy that they are too dumb to lie well. Because if they could lie well, we would have more problems. A family source said that no one ever considered Saba could have killed her sister because they were so close. They told the male, the two sisters, he would never see them apart. It was them two together all the time. Oh man, there's the door. Tesco bag. Every time we saw them, they seemed like twins, even though they were a few years apart, they were that close. Whether they were picking up Sima's children from school or going shopping, they would always go together. I couldn't believe the affair. I think what happened is that Saba got very obsessed with him. She was more interested in him while he was just passing time. That's crazy that you can excuse infidelity like that, though. That's crazy. During the trial, Hafiz had tried to downplay his role in the affair, claiming that he had been forced to have sex with her for 4 years. You're lying! But Joe Zidhu QC, Saba's defense barrister, had revealed how during the affair, Hafiz had begun exploring his options and even inquiring as to whether it was permissible in Islam to marry his sister-in-law. It just fell in for 4 years. I had a 4-year sexual emergency. While he said he had tried to break it off, Sidhu argued their relationship had remained sexual until days before the murder. And Hafiz had even warned off his suitor who had started to develop a relationship with Saba. Bro, he was fucking chasing guys away from the younger sister. No wonder she was obsessed with him. She wasn't allowed to have anybody else. And then after she kills her older sister and gets arrested, he's just like, well, now I don't have to deal with either of them. Time to get a younger wife back in Pakistan. During her murder trial, it was heard in court that Saba was a lonely individual, had traits of mental health issues, and had in the past cut and strangled herself. What the fuck? Well, her defense argued that the remorse will infect her for the rest of her days. She showed no emotion and was jailed for life with a minimum of 22 years. She had appealed to have her sentence reduced in 2017, but failed as judges ruled the sentencing for the horrendous and brutal murder was not manifestly excessive. I like how the only tag applied to this article is Pakistan. Good God, dude. Foids and moids, am I right? This was literally some fucking Spanish soap opera tier ride. What the fuck?